Hello YouTube, it's me Femshep, and I'm back with an expansion on a video that has kind of already been made. A while back, Zach Henke made a really excellent Marisa guide about her medium punch target combo. This thing. And the fact that it's kind of a casino every time you use it because it doesn't really have any safe enders, and different options beat different options that they could pick. But since that video came out, and since I've had more time with Marisa and been watching more Marisa players as of late, 801 Strider, Lazy Boredom, Goldbanks, the handful of people that are still committed to this character, my friend Mad Gear, I'm finding more and more things that people do where I go, I didn't know that worked. I wonder what that beats. So I made a comprehensive list of all of the things I have found that you can do off of the medium punch target combo, and the ways in which you might want to integrate some of those things. I haven't actually integrated all of this tech into my own instinctual play myself yet, so maybe making it into a video will help solidify it for me as well. And so, alright, let's get started. So, medium punch target combo looks like this. If you don't end it with anything, it's -8 on block. So most of the time you're going to want to end it with something. The most obvious thing you would end it with would be a Gladius. There is still a gap before the Gladius comes out. There is always a gap, and so if he were to do something invincible in that gap, let's put that in reversal here. He can always get something invincible out in that gap. There are ways to beat, in particular, the ODDP. Almost every character in the game, their ODDP loses to a charged OD Gladius in that situation. There are a few characters, namely Rashid and Akuma, where you have to just barely charge it and let go to get a trade because it is impossible to fully beat the DP. And there are some characters like Chun-Li, like Cammy, who will lose to a charged Gladius that is not OD. Or like Ed, who will lose to any charged Gladius other than light. Medium and heavy both beat without having to be OD. But on Ken, it needs to be OD. It would look like this. So it is possible to beat the ODDP there, but if you were to super there, well, you're cooked. So using the Gladius here is not foolproof. Different levels of charge on the Gladius beat different options. As I just showed, the charged OD Gladius would beat the DP, but if, for instance, he were going to just mash his fastest button in that gap, well, then not charging the Gladius at all beats him mashing his fastest button. But if I were to try to charge the Gladius, then if it were a non-crouching button, I could potentially armor through it and let the Gladius go and punish. But if it were a low that he was doing almost immediately, say a crouch medium kick, then it's going to lose to the low. Whereas letting go immediately beats him going for the crouch medium kick, thinking that you're going to charge it. Also, if you're charging it, there's always the risk that they're just going to jump over it while you're charging. And then they get a huge combo and you get punished. So clearly, Gladius Ender here is not guaranteed safe, but you can make it safer by forcing them to guess whether or not you're going to charge it not at all, a little bit, all the way in OD. You have options there to try to make it a little harder for them. Very often, they will also attempt to perfect parry the Gladius. Like that. I have it timed there so it'll hit the uncharged Gladius. You can throw off their parry timing by charging it a little bit. As you see then there, his reflexively hitting parry isn't going to work. But you also run the risk of getting parried anytime you end the string with Gladius. Which leads me to my next point, and one of the options you don't see as often, and that is just doing this on block without an ender. Now, why would you not want to do this? As I said, it's -8. Ken has a 7-frame crouch medium kick. So if I just do this, Ken actually has time to do a crouch medium kick into full punish counter combo before I recover from having done that. However, if you have a hard read that they're doing something that would suffer from that situation, there may still be reasons to do it. One big one being if they are always reflexively tapping parry after this because they're expecting a Gladius, because then you can do this. Oh. Is that real? No, not at all. But if you know they're going to parry, then it can be worthwhile to wait up. I think you might even be able to get a command grab there. Oops. Yep. So you can punish in that way. It is also only -8. There are very few supers in the game that are going to be fast enough to punish -8 and not give you time to block. Let's say, for instance, he was going to do his level 3. You know he's going to let it rip in the gap, because that would beat any possible version of Gladius you could do there. Well... Oh, wait! That's actually faster than A-frame startup? Okay, I stand corrected. That actually is fast enough. So, it really depends on the super, and it is a lot stronger if they're in burnout, because then this goes from -8 to being only -4, which reduces the risk significantly, because to punish, they would have to immediately mash a 4-frame jab, and their super is very unlikely to come out fast enough to punish. Let's just put Ken in burnout here, just to demonstrate that situation. And turn super back on. Yep. And I dropped my combo, but you get the idea that this is a situation where then, because he is so much more at a disadvantage with frames than he would have been. I'm still dropping my combos because I'm thinking about talking. But you get the idea. It's a very powerful option when they're in burnout, because they have less frame advantage and a lot of their normal bust out options cease to work in the way that they would normally work. Alright, so we covered Gladius Ender, we covered doing nothing to punish parry or super, certain reversals. Why would you want to potentially end this with a Phalanx? Well, there are certain supers in the game that will lose to a Phalanx going over them in this situation. JP level 1 is one. I don't want to go all the way to switch to JP now, so you'll have to take my word for it. But if JP blocks this... Make sure this is off. If JP blocks this and then throws level 1 in the gap, that goes right over his level 1 and punishes it. And that's the case for a lot of Fireball supers in the game. Likewise, if they're autopiloting that they want to beat you charging your Gladius, with a crouch medium kick, the crouch medium kick will also lose to the Phalanx. And then you always get double dash forward Oki there into a real mix between command grab or forward heavy kick. So that is another powerful option. So Gladius Ender, Phalanx Ender, do nothing Ender. Now, this is where I'm going to get into some additional stuff that is maybe a little less common. I think the last common option that you will see Marissa's do here is, if they're blocking, just drive rush cancel into the command grab. And that is not as good as it looks on the surface. For one, it's not real. If he's mashing, then off of a knee that would be real. Oh, that's wrong count, hang on. Off of a knee that would be real. See, counter hit, it beats him mashing his fastest button. But off of the medium punch target combo? That's not real. He can mash his way out of that. If you get lucky, you might still armor it, but even then, you're not in a great situation. And you always run the risk of, if they were guessing that you were either going to charge the Gladius or drive rush cancel into command grab, they might just jump. And you're -27. He gets the world in a handbasket. It's an extremely risky option. So it is sometimes more valuable on block to go for just a regular throw. And that doesn't do as much damage, but for one thing, if you time it correctly, it can beat him mashing his fastest button. There it is. It'll also beat him going for parry. And if he does jump, because he was expecting the command grab, let's do a forward jump to start. You still have time to anti-air. Likewise for a vertical jump. The only time that you don't still have time to anti-air there is a backward jump, because there's no way to catch him with how far away he's gonna get. At best, you can kind of chase him down with light punch target combo, but that's finicky. And at best, you get a reset. It's not even a knockdown. He's really far away. You spent another bar drive gauge after spending 3 on the cancel. I don't really think that's worth it. But it's a lower risk option to punish them being willing to block. Then, if you want to do something that is truly safe, that doesn't have a gap at all, there are your drive rush cancels into lights. Where we showed before that there's always a gap if you do Gladius, if you do Phalanx, if you do the vast majority of things. The only thing that doesn't have a gap... The only thing that doesn't have a gap is if you drive rush cancel into a crouching light punch or a crouching light kick from Marisa's light auto combo, because that's a true string. You'll see here that it doesn't come out until after. These two functionally have the same purpose. They all set up a situation where now you're +1 in his face. So the throw is not actually real. He can mash out of it, but a lot of people will still take the throw here, or they will try to tech the throw. And if they do a delay tech, then you are able to shimmy here and get your big punish. Oop, dropped it, hang on. Oh my god. You get the idea. The same applies to the light kick. I don't know why that isn't coming out today. There it is. I usually prefer the light kick for a couple of reasons. For one thing, if it hits, this auto combo hit confirms, the light Dima only comes out on hit. Likewise, if they were stand blocking these and they don't switch to crouch block, then the drive rush cancel will catch them continuing to stand block because they were only doing stand blocking. Like that. Whereas the crouch jab would not beat them only stand blocking. The crouch light kick will, because it's low. If they just continue to block, there are some benefits to only doing the jabs, in that you can then end that string any way you want. You can just do jabs. You can kind of try to create some space and be cheeky with the Gladius. You can try to beat them taking the turn back with a low by doing a manual light Phalanx. Oops. It's harder than it looks. There it is. Alright, it's a little bit difficult to input. Hello, kitty! But that would beat them going for a low, so it really depends on weighing your options. Personally, I think the easiest to use and the most valuable if you're going to go for a light drive rush cancel is just going to be that light kick. Alright, now this is where I'm going to get into the additional tech that I don't think Zach has covered, that I haven't really seen anybody cover comprehensively in terms of things you can do on block here and what options they will beat. And the first one is one that I actually just kind of messed around with in the lab yesterday. I'm not sure if I saw anybody else do this or if it just occurred to me. I can't remember, but that is... Wait, I need him to be blocking. That is going for a back heavy punch. Now, why is this good? Obviously, by itself on block, you're +3, but you're nowhere near close enough to throw or hit with any major buttons. However, you can always, if you think they're going to block it, just autopilot into back heavy punch into like Gladius. And that sets up a spacing trap, just like this would. I've talked about spacing traps in my other videos, you can check those out, but the TLDR is that anything but like a sweep from Ken would miss here. So if he tries to throw out a button to take his turn back, you can whiff punish him and get a huge combo. So this is really valuable on block because it sets up the spacing trap. It also, however, will frame trap if he mashes his fastest button after the drive rush cancel, which I had not realized. And then you are +9 on counter hit. Kitty, please move. Kitty, I'm recording. Honey, do not eat things. Thank you. Since you are +9 on counter hit, you can actually get another back heavy punch, and provided you can do a manual quarter circle back heavy, a huge combo. Oop. If it's not counter hit, and he just happens to get hit after blocking the first 2 hits, let's see. Just block first 2 hits. Which is likely to happen as well if he, for instance, is jumping. This will beat jumping as well. And you'll see he's still grounded. And if it's not counter hit, you're still +7. So you can't get another one of these, but you can get a medium punch target combo. So you can get a combo like this. If I can do my timing right. I'm still working on this. There it is. It's tight because you're +7, it's a 7-frame move, but it does work. What I saw Zach do, and what I usually see Marissa's do to catch people jumping because they're afraid of the command grab, is to just do another medium punch target combo. And that works. On hit, it's good. But on block, if they just block that entire string, then you're in the same exact guessing situation you were after the first block medium punch target combo, where you don't have any safe enders without spending the rest of your bar. Whereas if you do this and it's blocked, you're safe. There's no gap. You have time to block. It's something I definitely want to experiment with more because my go-to to beat jumps or to beat mashing has been another medium punch target combo. And I think there's a lot of value in going for this instead. Oh my god. Alright, the next one's kind of niche. I haven't actually seen anybody do this, and it's a hard read, so I'm not sure how useful it is. But if he were automatically mashing his crouching medium kick after the medium punch target combo to call out you charging Gladius, a drive rush cancel into a stand heavy punch will actually trade with it and leave you plus enough to get a back heavy punch into quarter circle back heavy like so. I am +12 there. So it is possible to actually, is this 12? No, it's 14. Okay, so it does have to be a back heavy punch, but it does work. Again, hard read, and you have to know what to do after the trade. But it has some utility. And if they were to just block and not do anything, yeah, this isn't real. It would lose to mashing really hard. And if you were to jump, it doesn't really get you much. It gets you a knockdown, but not like an exceptionally good knockdown. +43 is okay. I would have to experiment with which Oki works there because I think I know some stuff for +43. But obviously this isn't nearly as rewarding to beat the jump as doing this. That's a lot more rewarding to beat the jump than this would be. But if you condition them to just block, not jump, not mash, just block, then even though this isn't real, you get your beautiful +1 in their face situation where you can do your fake throw, you can frame trap with lights, you can shimmy, you can catch them trying to catch you shimmying, beat their crouch medium kick with your own medium punch. You've got options, and normally you wouldn't be able to get your drive rush stand heavy punch there. So it's worth considering as an option if you've already conditioned them to block earlier in the set. And if they do mash, you get that neat trade that I showed earlier. Oh wait, no, if they mash the crouch medium kick, that is. All right, what else do I have? This is possibly my favorite one. As I showed before, it works if you frame trap with this. You can get your combos. Even if it's not counter hit. But another option, I think I saw Strider do this. It might have been Shudo, it might have been Strider, I don't know. But is to drive rush cancel into this. Because unlike even this, I think it's even better than this. This, like I said, is very niche, hard read tech. This is a +2 situation, not a +1 situation. Which means your throw here beats mashing instead of losing to mashing. You can frame trap them with crouch lights if they do want to mash, and you have the ability to shimmy. And on top of that, if they try to just walk back out of your pressure, you can catch the walk back with your light kick from your light auto combo. So you have a ton of options off of that situation. And what makes it even better is if they do hit a button and not just block, because this frame traps. It frame traps, just like the medium punch target combo would. This is no longer your only option to frame trap. We have this, and now we have this. Now, why is that so good? Well, for one thing, you're +9 on counter hit, just like off of this. So you can confirm into back heavy punch, quarter circle back heavy, and with just Gladius if you can't do motion inputs. Yep, dropped it, hang on. And if it's not counter hit, if you just beat them jumping, which it'll also beat jumping, you're still +7, so you can go into your medium punch target combo. I think this might be, once I get used to doing it, because I'm still not doing it on reaction, my new favorite option off of drive rush canceling the medium punch target combo. Because it beats mashing, it beats jumps, and the situation on block is so much better than doing another medium punch target combo. And that is not all, it gets even better. What if they want to drive reversal? Oop. If they, obviously they can drive reversal in the gap before and just beat you out of the drive rush cancel. But if they try to drive reversal after they block the medium punch, you have time to hold back. It is safe to drive reversal. I don't think the back heavy punch is safe to drive reversal. I'm gonna check now. Nope, that's punish counter. So it's an option that is safe to drive reversal. Now, that was the other thing I forgot to mention earlier. Let's just say they want to drive reversal after just the drive rush cancel. Well, what can you do there? Obviously, it beats any button that you would hit. You can't jump out of it. Well, this is particularly viable on Modern. What you can do is super. And every single super there works after the drive rush cancel to beat the drive reversal on reaction. I think that is everything I have for the medium punch target combo on block. On hit is a whole different story. If you don't want to spend meter, you can just end with medium Dema. If you do want to spend meter, OD Dema and extend from there. But on block, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Different strengths of Gladius can be mashing, can be ODDPs, but lose to different options like lows, like jumps. Phalanx beats them going for lows. Doing nothing can catch them trying to reflexively parry, or is especially strong against burnout because very often their reversal super will not come out on time. Drive rush canceling into a light is a true strength. It is her only safe ender. It allows you to set up potential tick throw situations where, while the throw is not real, they are inclined to respect it. Drive rush canceling into a command grab is fake, but useful if they are only parrying or if they are only blocking. Drive rush canceling into a normal throw instead is a lot safer than the command grab on whiff, and will allow you to still anti-air with the jump medium punch target combo unless their jump was backwards, in which case you're still safe. It's really not the end of the world. Drive rush canceling into another medium punch target combo will beat mashing and beat jumps. However, on block, you're in the same exact unsafe situation you were in the first place. Drive rush canceling instead into this allows you to combo into medium punch target combo on regular hit, or another back heavy punch on counter hit. If you drive rush cancel into a crouch medium punch, likewise, it'll beat mashing, it'll beat jumps. On regular hit, you're +7, go into this. On counter hit, you're +9, go into this. And in addition, it's pretty much the only option I found that is safe to drive reversal if you hold back after the button comes out. If they just straight up block your drive rush into this, you're in a +2 situation that is extremely threatening, as you can beat them with strike, with throw, with shimmy, catch their walk back with this. You have tons of options. And lastly, you have that niche hard read. You're probably not going to use it, and I'm probably not either. Drive rush cancel into this, which only beats an immediate crouch medium kick, but on counter hit trade will allow you to combo into this. I'm FemShep. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching. When in doubt, Gladius.